Listen. Parents, help your kids. Let them know it's a safe, comfortable space. Show and tell them to express their emotions. Communicate. Let them be who they are or want to be. And if your way of being is unhealthy and they finally express or you see before it's too late, do what I just said. Don't send them away as if it's something broke that needs to be repaired. Like that'll ever work. Just will mess them up worse, and they'll definitely won't come back. First, better, or back to y'all. They don't need to be fixed. They're already okay, beautiful human beings. You know, raising a human being is tough. You know, within one person or two people, you know, it's just, you know, because there are things that comes with it. You know, there's definitely could be easier within a sense of just obviously the way the world could be or things of that nature, or you know, just you not feeling this certain pressure from society and others, or you just not putting this pressure on yourself, you know, from what you've seen or told, you know, should be, or things like that, you know, is you know, it can definitely be this thing where you seek out help, you know, within certain relationships and certain situations, you know, and some situations, you know, they seek out help, you know, and they just where their mental was or is, or you know, they saw nothing else, you know, they felt there was nothing they could do, so they looked for help, and whoever those people were that helped said, we can help, and they said, here's my child, you know, and you know, they got, you know, sent off somewhere, and you know what I'm saying? Like I say, there's a way to do everything, and you know, from my knowledge, I do not know, but I'm pretty sure from majority of those so-called places that you send individuals away to, you know, I just wouldn't say those are the healthiest ways of doing those things, you know, and you know, I don't feel, you know what I'm saying, that should ever be an option. You know what I'm saying? If we are going to create something, and if we're going to go somewhere, then we're going to go somewhere to try to evaluate, work, change, grow. You know, not one needs to be sent off. You know what I'm saying? Because within the one, you know, regardless of how you may feel about how they are, you know, they may be okay with how they are. You know what I'm saying? So it's just we're sending you off to conform or to accept our way of being, you know, to accept our way of parenting, or, you know, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not so much of a, you know, really working on the relationship type thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like the conversion therapy type thing. It's more of a, you know, like I said, you're not seeing our way of living. You're not seeing what we, believe in. You know what I'm saying? You are going against what we believe in, and we don't think that is okay, so you must conform. You must change. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, even though it is tough within, maybe one individual or two individuals or, whoever, you know what I'm saying? I just feel it becomes easier within a sense of working together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a parent or the two parents or whoever is looking after, that individual, trying to figure everything out, about that individual. And it's like, that's where, the tough part usually is, with a lot of things, is because they're trying to come up with and create all this stuff without the actual individual they're trying to, create and come up with the stuff for. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's lacking. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have all these things of ways of living or being or thoughts, and you try to enforce that onto that human because that's majority of what you know, and that's how you know to live or be or think, so that's really what the tough is, and that's why I say, what I'm saying, look at yourself, because really it's really it could be a great thing for most people, what I'm saying, just a kid, not having a kid, but just a kid or being around a child, less experience, within certain things, because it can open your mind back up in areas, it can challenge you in the things that, you're so accustomed to, and you can allow it to change your mental. You can allow you to learn so many things from interacting with somebody who's so less experienced, who's so new to it all. And that's why, I say, it's just, we help each other in so many ways if we really set back, if we really allowed, those ways to be in effect. And I really believe that just within, us coming together. You know what I'm saying? But you just, sending your kid away will, that just won't, that can't be the move. You know what I'm saying? If you can't figure that out, if you weren't prepared, you know what I'm saying, then you gotta figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't, that's why, you have to be prepared within a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? This is a human being. This isn't, obviously within yourself and doing things, sure, trial and errors, a mistake, this and that, but that human isn't, your experiment, isn't your trial and errors, because that, human is going to feel certain things and it's going to deal with certain things, and certain things are going to stay with that human, from your so-called fuck-ups, and I don't care if you change or not. It's just, were those fuck-ups really needed? You know what I'm saying? Could you have went a different way about it? Could you have tried it in a different way? Could you have maybe asked that human this, and that in order to, you know what I'm saying, within a certain extent? Or, you know, it's just so many ways. Like, how do parents not care or express anything when their kids in room all day, sleep all day, don't eat, don't shower? When do come out of room, look hurt, don't do nothing, don't go nowhere. Like, they just don't give a fuck. And when they do say something, it's because they yelling at you, because you ain't do something, because they want some. So really, that's why I'm saying start living for y'all, because it's like part of you doing this is they'll care, but they not. So work on yourself, change and grow, figure out what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you don't want, and do it. Work towards it. Start taking care of yourself. Take showers, eat, go clean room, stay in room when you're not out, because don't want to be with them when you go out. Because don't want to be with them when you go out. Be with them because don't want to be with them. Oh. Go clean room, stay in room when you're not out, because don't want to be with them. When you go out in a field, a park, or if you have genuine people, hang with them, but still take time for yourself. Huge. You know, it's really that, you know, evaluation of your situation and being able to make that decision of, you know, understanding what is and understanding your options, you know, and like, there's nowhere I can go right now, you know, so knowing that you have to separate yourself to a certain extent from those people, you know what I'm saying? And that right there, and that realization, and that, you know, acceptance of that decision will completely, you know, change your life. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, when you talk about it and when you look at it, you know, why are you, you know, sulking in your room all day? Why are you not eating? Why are you not cleaning, you know, your area, yourself, you know, going out? Why are you not doing those things? You know, and when you evaluate those things, you know, sure, you can say, because, you know, I feel like this, I feel like, you know, blah, 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 you know, and then you go, you know, why are you feeling those things? You know, and then it just trickles down to them, you know, and you're feeling this shittiness because of them. You're feeling, you know, left out because of them, or, you know, other people who, you know what I'm saying? You understand it now, you know, you see it now, and yes, that hurts. And now within that evaluation, can you sit in that for a little while? Can you, you know, just, you know, because your body's gonna hurt, you know, from that feeling. So that can be an understandable thing, and you haven't set up foundations of, you know, just being able to still, you know, take care of yourself to a certain extent. So will you maybe, you know, not be eating, not be cleaning, and, you know, maybe within that certain period of time, you know what I'm saying? But once you, you know, slowly come out of that, you know, and you start creating your foundations, you know what I'm saying, and you're, you know, obviously within those other people, remove them out of your life, and with these people, you know, create an environment and create, you know, you within the situation, you know, to just, you know, kind of, you know, do what you got to do within the sense of, you know, what they were yelling at you for, or, you know, things of that nature. Make sure that's good, and, you know, make sure you're kind of just, you know, avoiding them within a sense. Make sure you're kind of just, you know, going here and there, and then when you're at that building, you know, you're in your room, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be, you know, enjoying yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be, you know what I'm saying, feeling healthy and have this peace, and not like, you know, just living unhealthily and feeling horrible because of them. Because as you see, they're doing them, whether what they feel, blah, 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 what you feel they feel, or blah, 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 they're still out there doing them. They're still living, you know, their life within a sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, stop worrying about them, you know, and really do you, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, now you're in your room, but now what are you doing in your room? You know what I'm saying? Now you're actually doing what you want. Now you're working towards something. Now you're creating this foundational thing, you know what I'm saying? So now that you create this foundation, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, you're going to, you know, still have times when you feel this, and that, you know, but you won't go back into that not eating, not taking care of yourself thing, because now you have this foundation of, you know, I'm gonna get hit, you know, I'm gonna get hurt, you know what I'm saying? But within that recovery of getting back up and healing, you know, I have this foundation where, you know I must do these things, or I want to do these things to, you know, speed up the recovery, to speed up the healing, to make the healing, you know, easier and healthier, you know, and I won't fall back into the not eating and, you know, not taking care of yourself. Parents care more about the Bible than caring and supporting their own child. I feel like if the Bible said to kill them, they would. You know, and that may be a fool, but you know, the stories that so many people can tell you, you know, within that building they were living in with those certain people, and the religious abuse, you know, that those people dealt with, you know, and how much religion was thrown into their face, and how much, you know, violence they had to deal with, you know what I'm saying, verbal, you know, putrid they had to deal with, that was justified, you know, through a Bible, or through religion, or through, you know, a so-called God, you know, or through a so-called, you know, devil, you know, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, you know, you would feel, you know, that's extreme, but, you know, I don't feel that's, you know, I don't feel that's extreme. You know what I'm saying? I feel truly, I mean, because just the extent that they go to, you know, when their child does, you know, minor things. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if it was, you know, child is this way, or human is this way and does this, or blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? Whether child or, you know, stranger or whatever, if it said, you know, you must kill them, I think people would kill a lot of people. You know, I don't, you know, I don't push it off. You know, I think people would kill a lot of people, you know, because just to, you know, blindly follow these stories, this idea, you know, that was created, that people said what it is, you know, for you to do that, you know, with so much, you know, just pride, and with so much, you know, just, you know, I'm here, I'm ready, this what is, and I really truly believe this. You know, I feel whatever that tells you to do, within a sense, you know, you're doing it, especially since it would be, you know, benefiting you, and you would now have this another justification of your horrible actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's why I just, you know, kind of talk about, you know, the religious stuff in a sense, because there's too many human beings who are suffering because of this religion shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, obviously, yes, within a sense, they are allowing it, you know, and within a sense, you got to understand that this was put on to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it doesn't help. You know what I'm saying? The religion thing, it does not help. you know, and it gives too many people something to fall back on. It gives too many people something to put blame on. It gives too many people for them not to be held accountable, to not hold themselves accountable, to try to justify their horrible actions. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just there's no, you know, it's tough, you know, because a lot, you know, of people who, you know, have that view, you know, do express kindness and are positive within a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, you know, like I say, you know what I'm saying? Do you need the God, you know, the Jesus, the Bible, the religion, you know, whatever, to do that? You know, or can you be that without all this other stuff? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm just like, we don't need all this other stuff. You know, there's no reason for all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? What is right now? You know, and how can we do things right now? And what is healthy right now? And how are we living right now? You know what I'm saying? It's just y'all whole mentality within a sense, or certain areas of your mentality is very shaped off of, you know, those stories and what you've been told and how things are supposed to go within just humans, regardless of a certain time, as if humans are all the same throughout time. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's, our minds are very influenced off of what is around us and how we are living, and, you know, things that are being told and communicated to us, you know, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would, you know, it would be a whole different ball game, you know, if one of us went to go live, you know what I'm saying, just in any of those other times and try to just act like it's the same, you know, type of morals or same, you know, religious things, you know, for the ones who are doing the so-called same practicing. Stop calling y'all kids evil, then praying over them. Once again, the extent that, you know, these people will go to. You know what I'm saying? And once again, what does that do to a human being? You know, especially if you know, we talked about it, you know what I'm saying? But you know, it's not healthy. You know what I'm saying? And like, just like, that would be so horrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the person that's supposed to care and support, the person that you look to, the person that you go to, whatever, blah blah blah, you know, is feeling that you are evil, and then they, you know, as the child or human, whoever, you know, sees, you know, how so-called religious you are, how much you believe in, or blah blah blah, and that you feel that they really need to be prayed over, and the things that you would say during that prayer, and you know what I'm saying, and all this, and like, you know what I'm saying, like, they understand, you know, what you're saying, they understand, you know what I'm saying, within, you know, I don't know what they would, you know, pray over, you know what I'm saying, but within saying that, you know, save them, you know what I'm saying, within saying that they don't mean to do or be who they are, you know, you just must show them the way, you know, your path that you have set. They, you know, I just, you know what I'm saying, you know, I you know, I'm not too sure, you know, what the script says, you know, within the script that is, you know, written for these, you know, these these plays that these people are doing. Like, listen, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, if that's what that so-called parent is believing, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I'm feeling the child is in danger. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm feeling the child isn't being cared for and supported for and treated, you know what I'm saying, healthily. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we need to be talking about. Shouldn't be giving y'all kids crazy pressure to be so-called successful. What the fuck do you think that does to them? You know, and I'm just like, you know, I'm like, are these like, you know, I wonder, like, when, you know, those type of human beings have those type of discussions with each other or themselves, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, is that not part of the, you know, decision making, you know what I'm saying, of, you know, wanting them to so-called be successful in certain ways of going about, you know, these things? You know what I'm saying? Is it not about, you know, how they may feel, how they may react to it? You know what I'm saying? Or is it a, you know, you convince yourself that, you know, that it doesn't matter how they feel about it because of the so-called end result of what could be successful, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh, the foundation of what you're going for, you know, what you're striving for is unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's not about, you know, making sure within a sense that, or trying to, or, you know, the decision of what you're choosing within that situation is off of the well-being of the human. You know what I'm saying? It's off of, you know, will this be healthy for them, you know, throughout the process of, you know, doing whatever, you know, you're deciding on. You know, how would this affect them? You know, will this be unhealthy for them? Will this be healthy for them? You know, will they go through some struggles, you know, and, you know, within those struggles, you know, are they, you know, detrimental to their mental health, to their body? You know, are those struggles too extreme within a sense? Do we need to go another way? Do we need, you know what I'm saying? Like that is what needs to be, you know, evaluated, you know what I'm saying? To understand that there will still be struggles and bumps and things like that, you know, but within the struggles and the bumps, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we see that pothole over there and we see that pothole over there. You know, they're both potholes, you know, but that pothole over there is looking like it'll do little to no damage, you know, or less damage than that big old pothole over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, that's basically, you know, just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, there's definitely so many ways to go about it, and definitely within, you know, just so many minds that can come together, or just, you know, so much stuff that's open to us and how creative we can be. You know what I'm saying? We can think of and create so many ways of going about certain things and getting over, you know, certain struggles, you know, and not just so-called, you know, dealing with it, or you can so-called handle this, or you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just keep, you know, I can handle this, because you've been so-called handling this for 5 years, and now you're, you know what I'm saying, worn out, to the ground, broken down, you know, you've been so-called handling, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this can only take so much, you know what I'm saying? You have to understand your limit, you have to listen to your body, you know, and you can't just, you know, keep trying to, cause you feeling, you know, whatever. Stop calling y'all kids names. When they can't figure it out or find something, they not doing it on purpose. And if they are, you know it's a joke and y'all laugh. But when it's shit you feel is not cool, say a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff for no reason, then later on want to be buddy because you cool down, like no. That shit feel like it just happened 2 seconds. And we trying to figure out why there's always a problem and how y'all so quick to get mad or speak to us like that. Then we not trying to talk. Y'all act confused like that didn't happen. Then you try to downplay it, call us sensitive, say we attacking you when you did nothing wrong. Like shit don't be new. You try to express it every time, but they claim they don't. Then we bring it up. Then we got to name a time you did it. Then it's pointless. And now we just have to hold back and act like everything is okay. Huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know, that's so many, you know, people, you know, can relate to the exact situation. You know what I'm saying? And an exact situation can pop up in their head, and it's that exact breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we are dealing with certain type of individuals who, you know what I'm saying, think that way, and who, you know, react to certain things that way, and who go about, you know what I'm saying, communicating things that way. You know, and it's not cool. You know what I'm saying? And that's so big to understand, like the, you know, if they, you know, are doing it on purpose or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know it's a joke. You know you're laughing, and like that is a healthy relationship, and that is a, you know, a thing that doesn't have to be discussed, or a thing that doesn't have to, you know, because that person isn't, you know what I'm saying, like already ready to, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, you not tripping over nothing, and you just, you know, playing haha, and then you like here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like it's not this, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like when somebody's doing that, you know, they're looking to make you feel bad. They're looking to just show you that I can do this, this, and that. They're looking to, you know, I can just go around, do whatever, and then I choose the moods. I choose how you feel. I choose how you should react. You know, me. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know, where do we go from there? You know, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all on them. You know, it's all on how they feel about it, how they see the situation, how they want the situation to go. You know, and there will never ever be any fucking body that I would want to be in that type of relationship with. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I will remove them from my fucking life so fast. You know what I'm saying? Within that understanding of that evaluation, you know, within that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should never, ever, you know, want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just so, you know, like, that is just so unhealthy. You know, and nobody wants to be around a person like that. Like, you just wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so draining, you know, and it's so, you know, because just within so many of our situations and them already having the power, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be so confusing to me how they would still, like, you know, try to act like, you know, like somebody was trying to, you know, test them or battle them or so-called attack them. Like, it was like, it made no sense. Like, you know, we're able to see and understand the situation, you know what I'm saying, and understand that, hey, I'm not paying for any of this within this, you know, world we live in, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're able to see that. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you still feel so challenged and so threatened, you know, that you must do these certain things or say these certain things or be this certain way to show that you're so-and-so, you know, it's just you, you know, and it's just such a reflection of yourself and how you feel about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's no other way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so many times where I had to be like, no, Like, nobody's trying to disrespect you. Like, nobody's, saying it in that way. And I would be like, why would I say that in that way? Why would I mean that in that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, it didn't matter how I said it or blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? It's how they took it, how they wanted to manipulate the situation. But I would like, why would I, why would that be my intent? You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, obviously, within, me getting, beat and this and that, you know what I'm saying? It would be like, why would that even be more my intent? You know what I'm saying? And that's just like, you see, like, they're looking to, beat you. They're looking to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where, I'm trying to, like, kind of just tell people, like, within abusers in, certain relationships, it doesn't matter what the one who's being abused is doing to a certain extent, or what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, sure, you can say this, and it doesn't matter. That abuser is looking to abuse them. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to find any and every which way to abuse them. That is what they are looking to do. You know what I'm saying? Because that is their thing. That's what gets them, going within a sense. Whatever is the abuse, is being able to do that action of abusing. Kids will act out when they don't get what they want. And they will continue if every time they act out, you give it to them. You need to show them in a very calm, gentle manner that they need to healthily communicate what they want. You don't need to react to them screaming or them throwing themselves at you, depending on situations. Just have a firm but gentle grip on them so they don't run off. You got to set boundaries and have a foundation for when things like that happen. If they don't want to healthily communicate or try, or won't calm down, express what they're feeling without harming others or themselves, then they can go be to themselves. It's like less experience. You don't know what's healthy for you, unhealthy, how stuff will affect you in the long run. The foundation and what you practice now is big. So they may feel a certain feeling about being put by themselves, and within that allows them to evaluate why and what you said. That's why it's big to healthily communicate. The healthy, unhealthy, the reason, because this will be in their head and stay with them. And it's like, if they don't want to go be by themselves, then give them other options. Show them they have multiple options in each situation, and verbally and physically express those options and see which one they like best. Like, it's healthy for them to choose. Continue to restate the whole point or thing you're trying to get out of it, which is, what do they want? Let them know you're still caring for them and supporting, letting them express emotions or things they want to express. Let them calm down on their own, and when they do, show support. So now they see that it's a healthy thing to do in those situations, is to calm down and healthily communicate. Then they get what they want. It may be as little as them wanting candy or something, but all this is the foundation for everything huge. Like I said, if you don't do it, if you don't do it for them, when they're less experienced, for the so-called small things, for the, you know what I'm saying? It's like, then it's doing nothing within a sense. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're only doing it for the so-called big moments, which happen, probably maybe every once in a blue moon or whatever, it's like, it isn't enough practice, you know what I'm saying? And they themselves may just, not make it into the big thing, because then, they'll get their way, or, just things like that. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just really healthy, for them to, understand how to deal with certain situations. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know how to interact with other humans within a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? They know, nothing, within, certain things, or, like I say, certain healthy, unhealthy, boundaries within, certain people, and it's like, if they aren't learning that with the humans that they're around all the time, when they go out and interact with other humans, they're just gonna, do whatever, you know what I'm saying? When they go, out with other humans and like I say, daycare or a teacher, whatever, and they want something and they're not being given it, they're gonna, lash out and act out, until they get it, and that's not what you're, working towards. That's not what you're, trying to do, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, back with the not eating thing of blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, the first few times or, whatever, or not the, well, the first few times just within, obviously, well, obviously it's different for everybody, but just, yeah, let's not even say the first few times. Just within, well, because I'm trying to say something and then something else. So, yeah, through the first few times or things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you haven't set the foundation. They have no foundation to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they lash out, it's like they lash out. You know what I'm saying? You haven't set any foundation. You've, maybe said it once or twice, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, there's nothing really there, and within you creating that foundation and trying to, set the foundation or whatever, or relay the foundation to them, you know what I'm saying? You're also, working on it, you know what I'm saying? And trying to understand it yourself and see how you want to go about it with this certain human being. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's what I was also trying to say, just within, as a whole and always within a sense, you're always kind of, working on a foundation, you know what I'm saying, within a sense, and making, just small changes, but when it's now they're more experienced in it, and later on, like I say, later on, stuff is still gonna hurt, but now you won't fall back into not eating, you know what I'm saying? So they're still not gonna get what they want, but now they aren't gonna fall back into just lashing out. What they fall back into is the foundation that's set to catch them, that is there for them. What you fall back into when they, don't get what they want, the foundation that y'all set, together, because like I said, and that's gonna make them want to, do it more and understand it more and just feel it's a way of, just how they, do things, just like how they lash out is because they're choosing, that foundation and those certain options that you were presented to them. You know what I'm saying? Because just how they're choosing to lash out, you know what I'm saying? But just within, them choosing to lash out, it's just one of the things that obviously they kind of naturally do within the sense of being so confused about certain emotions and this and that, about what they're feeling and how to process them. So it's already this kind of automatically, in a way, just kind of cry and fuss and like, you know what I'm saying? But within them doing that, and been doing that, they saw that they get what they want and there's no real like fight back within a sense. But now, within this choice of doing it this way, whether they truly understand like, hey, this is healthy, they are getting what they want, so, you're still, it's not gaslight or manipulation, whatever, because you're still instating and, saying like, this is healthy, that is unhealthy, you know what I'm saying? You're saying what is, they just may not understand it, but, they're just doing it because they're getting what they want, but that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? That is how it is within a less experience, and within, just like I say, how, we've been taken advantage of in a sense when we've been less experienced and this and that, we're just kind of just go with it, and do what we're told, you know what I'm saying? So they're just kind of they're gonna go with it if you're giving them what they want within a sense. But within that, we're, through our responsibility and just how we live and how our mental is and how we want to be healthy and we want our other humans to be healthy, we are going to show them the healthy way, and we are going to, tell them the healthy way and care about their well-being and, things of that nature. That's why I'm saying, we got to do for us, we got to love us and, have a healthy relationship with ourselves, because it's up to us, like they are looking towards us, they have just entered our world, and, we've been living this way, for so many, sun ups and sun downs, so it's like, you know, we got to carry the load. Kids will tell and show you what they want and don't want. And when you healthily communicate, they'll express whether they want it or not. It's not hard. Don't use a stupid label to stop them from doing things they want. Like, and when it's things they want that you can make come true. Oh, what? When it's things they want that you can make come through, try your hardest. When it's something they always talk about or are very interested in, learn about it. Get educated on it. Through them, have convos with them about it. If it's like something you can buy, surprise them with it. I don't know. Yeah, so huge. Like, obviously, situations do certain things, they want or don't want, but, doesn't matter what anybody else saying, doesn't matter what, everybody has said that is for, whatever, what I'm saying, they, for some reason, what I'm saying, got this interest in it, what I'm saying? So, like I say, talk to them, why do you have this interest in it, or, what made you like this for, some reason, what I'm saying? And it's like, like I say, do it together or get it together, or, surprise them with it or create it with them, or, what I'm saying? Like, and that's where, the healthy relationship is, growing, what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying, like, through, wants, what I'm saying? Like, these are, things that they are going to want, and they're choosing, what I'm saying? So it's like, it's gonna be, this fun, experience, for them to be able to do what they want to, them being able to choose what they want, and, everybody else just going along with it and allowing them to choose that. And, obviously there's gonna be different times, and, them knowing what they don't want, what I'm saying, and being able to express that however they communicate, what I'm saying, you being willing to have that, conversation with them, what I'm saying, like, that is what's it about, and you go to, however, long, just as far as, say like me now or whatever, it's like, what am I doing now? I'm, what I'm saying, what do I want, don't want, and I'm able to talk to myself about it and figure those things out, but if I wasn't doing that, back when, whatever, that I decided to, start doing it with myself, what I'm saying, and this and that, then it's like, I wouldn't be able to do it now in the way that I do. I wouldn't be able to, just act on it and, go do it, or go, get it or create it, or, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Parents, y'all have to pay attention to all your kids. Each needs Parents, y'all have to pay attention to all your kids. Each needs the attention. Each have their own struggles, no matter what, and want to be celebrated on their stuff. Can't give attention just to one child or your so-called favorites, no matter what. This isn't no, I had some humans, I fuck with this one and don't fuck with that one. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, within certain shit, we'll talk about that, but within this shit, you know what I'm saying? And within you understanding and knowing this shit, you know what I'm saying? I just find a way to fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't no, like, you find a way to fuck with them. you know, and like, you're not saying, you know, hey, you know, this, and that, you know what I'm saying? Because just kind of, you know, like I say, you know what I'm saying? Especially already with that sort of kind of connection, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, building this healthy relationship and having fun, and you know, y'all come to the understanding of certain things and agreeing on certain things, and them understanding, you know, what's y'all situation or blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't really matter, you know, who you so called click with or who that individual is to a certain extent. It's like, you know, if y'all are having fun, you know what I'm saying? If y'all, you know what I'm saying, like just, you know, are able to, you know what I'm saying, like it doesn't really, you know, to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and don't make them and try to make them into what you want and blah, 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 you know, still have that understanding, you know, but it does no good at all and very unhealthy to kids who are, you know, abandoned within a sense, you know what I'm saying? And definitely abandoned and being kept within the same building, and see you, you know, not abandon the others, you know, see you fuck with the others and not them, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, for them, and then like, you know, what is the pressure you're putting on the other siblings, you know, because they, you know, feel some way about it, and they may, you know, just like, you know, talk to the other one that's being abandoned and kind of like, you know, this and that, you know, but you know, they don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a tough situation within it all, you know, and it may cause the one who's being abandoned to also, you know, feel indifferent about, you know, their siblings, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just all this, you just created such an unhealthy environment, you know what I'm saying? And just, you know, fucked so many relationships within a sense, because you doing what? You know, because you choosing to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you, you know, like, come on. I mean, you know, definitely within certain, you know, children, humans, you know, they've done, you know, some things, and let's go about and figure those things out. But to abandon and to create whatever reason, you know, is like, you know, I don't know. Kids are bullies because parents are bullies, and parents allow it. You know, you can go any way you want about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I talk about that sibling thing and how they allow some siblings to bully other siblings. You know, regardless, that's what they're practicing. So when they go to others, you know, and they do the same thing, you know, and it's not so called allowed, and it's not this forced understanding that, you know, the child who's getting bullied, you know, within the sibling, you know, is being told that that's just how siblings play or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a stranger, you know, and now, you know, your child is saying, you know, what's wrong, this and that, I'm just playing and blah, 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 but they're fucking bullying the child. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, they do this, and you allowed this, you know, and you know, talking about other people or treating your partner in a certain way, or, you know, bullying, you know, the children, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And especially within, you know, children, you know, just within less experience, you know, within a sense, you know, they're not, you know, who's around, when do we talk about it, you know, how do we go about, you know, bullying certain people, or, you know, talking shit about something, you know, they're just talking, you know, they're just doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may be more sly about it and more, you know, whatever about it, you know, but you know, within a way, you know, you're still doing it, you know, and they ain't got no filter on theirs. Money is taught at home, not school. You can make millions and be poor in less than a couple months. Shit, less than a day, fuck. Less than 24 hours, shit, man, listen. But yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, I don't remember, like, maybe like as far as an elective, maybe they had like, you know, money management, or but I mean, through that, I mean, I mean, I didn't take it, so how much can I speak about it? But I'm pretty sure they weren't, you know, talking about, nitty gritty, you know, money management and how to budget and how to do certain things, or where to put your money, or how to, not spend, or what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I took, like a business class, and we did, like this simulation, like with, money management thing or things of that nature. But it's such in a way where it's taught in such a video game-ish way. We're kind of just left to, just do whatever, and just spend all kind of money, just spend all kind of money on it. And it's not really so much like treat this like whatever, what I'm saying. And, I mean, of course, listen, this is me. This is me. Didn't matter what simulation, we there. Shit, I used to play that one on Cool Math, they like that coffee shop one. Shit, boy, on the up. Shit, had to understand, the weather, had to understand, what I'm saying, what certain people wanted. You buy too much sugar, then you don't have enough money for the milk, and now you ain't, what I'm saying, like, you gotta know, what I'm saying, like, so it was just definitely more just, like I say, just a certain individual, and just, how you're living, within at home. And, because school, as far as I saw it, is just kind of like a playground. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, this fake place that I could go to. It wasn't this like kind of, because how we're kind of told, like, this isn't the real world. You know what I'm saying? Or blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when people are there, they can just, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But when you're in, back into the so-called, your life or whatever, then you're living with what you're actually living in, and you're living within, being poor. You're living within, being, rich. You're living within, whatever, and that's kind of more where it's, like, oh, we don't have enough money for this, or, oh, just, you just saying, I want this, and they giving you all of it, you know what I'm saying? So now you're up, and you have the money, and you just getting whatever, and some, we weren't able to get this, so now you up, and now you're just getting whatever, you know what I'm saying? And some, we're not able to get this, so we gotta, in order to get this, or maybe if we want this, and we gotta sacrifice this, but then we'll be able to get this. And a sort of a budgeting thing goes on, and a sort of an understanding, how to spend money and where not to spend money, and understanding, what you actually, want or need, instead of just getting whatever, you know what I'm saying. And still within that, you know what I'm saying, you can, kind of see, like, they just spend all type of money everywhere, but, I don't really, want this, that, so I only played with that for however long, I only, wanted this because of that, or, what I'm saying. And it's like, it all depends, regardless of the so-called situation. It's all individuals and how they react to it, and how they, see it, and, really feel about it. My life sucks because I stick up for my kids against my spouse. So what do? I stop sticking up for my kids in order to please my spouse. Man, just can't happen. It just can't happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it took me till, really, really, that, when I evaluated and really saw it, to that, of the, I guess I was like, kind of, make the decision, you know what I'm saying? Like make the decision, is it gonna be us? Is it gonna be, your spouse, whatever? Because you're saying all these things, but, we're still here, you're still, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we were still there, so the decision was already made. I was just, whatever. But it's like, when I came to allow myself to, come to that realization and accept it, obviously that shit hurt. And it was like, that's when I started creating a foundation to, like, oh, like, I gotta get me the fuck up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta save me. Ain't nobody coming. And it's like, y'all, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Within yourself, it's like, I mean, you still can't do that, you know what I'm saying? But, maybe you need time. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, this and that. But within you then, brought some other humans, into this situation. It's like, maybe you need time, maybe you blah, 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 but, they don't deserve this. They ain't got nothing to do with, this human that I didn't, brought into their life to a certain extent, that I didn't, put on to them, and it's like, I chose this human, and, I'm allowing this human that I chose to, bully my children. And, I just, like I say, I can't, that won't ever make sense to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gonna please my spouse, so my spouse abuses me a little less, you know what I'm saying? And it was like still getting abused. Regardless, everybody was still getting abused. And it was just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like at that point, like, then it's once again, abuse, no abuse. What do we choose? Abuse. Like, it's just like, there's no way I could go about that. Like, what are we talking about? Why can't some parents, adults in general, allow us to treat them like humans? Like, I don't get it. Oh, I'm not your friend, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whether it was school and there was a cool teacher and we treated each other like humans and had respect for each other, them older people at the job be the best co-workers. Treat each other like humans and with respect, great relationships. But some want to let things that they created to separate us, like age and experience on certain things. Then they feel entitled and feel as if you're below them and must bow down to them and do as they say or they'll cut your head off. Like, sorry, your majesty. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Like, it's just like, don't nobody want that type of relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna be on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, move around. Like, and it was like the whole thing. It was like the whole thing back then was, it was only because they didn't want to get their head cut off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why have that type of relationship anyways? You know that hoe not gonna be genuine at all. So why try to have those moments where you try to act cool and this and that? Like, when you know how that relationship is set up and how you wanted it to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just wild. But it's like, yeah, it's so big on that. Like, then had, a few just cool teachers. Chilling. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know. Like, it's just, it just shows, how much it's on each of us, and how much we, view each other and view, a certain relationship and view, this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, what gonna go kick it with, the teacher, like somewhere else other than school or this and that. Cause it's just like, I mean, you know, that's just not how we view the relationship, or we weren't looking for that, or, you know what I'm saying, none of that, you know what I'm saying, but it was like, you know, it was cool chilling with the teacher. It was cool staying after school and going to their class and, you know what I'm saying, like just chilling there. Like it was some teachers I had, like I would stay after school and do, you know, homework or work on something from another class, you know, just to be, you know, in their presence, you know what I'm saying, and just, you know, chill, you know what I'm saying, and see, you know, because they didn't have this, you know, this, you know, very negative, horrible judgment on me, you know what I'm saying, and have this, you know, already, you know, whatever type of, you know, judgment, you know what I'm saying, some people had on me or this and that, you know what I'm saying, like, it was just, you know, it felt calm, you know, it felt like, you know, a welcoming environment, you know, a very peaceful environment, you know, and it wasn't just this, you know, somebody trying to hound me and looking for me to, you know, react or, you know, certain things like that. You know, I really didn't like that, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, the way people would try to, you know, do certain things, you know, in order for me to react or react a certain way, or, you know what I'm saying, just looking for something. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, within a job, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody know, you know, you at the whatever job, you know what I'm saying? It's like you got the, you know, you got the older coworkers. Y'all chilling. Y'all is chilling, boy. Like, come on, bro. I remember my nigga Victor. My nigga Victor, bro, we used to be laughing funny as hell. Bro, in the inside jokes we had and shit like that shit used to be crazy, bro. That shit used to be crazy. And it's just like, you know, we could talk about, you know, serious shit and talk about, you know what I'm saying, like so much shit to talk about. You know, and this is just like when you not, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, this how it gotta be or blah blah blah. Like that shit was just, you know, so, you know, dope. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so many relationships, you know, regardless of age, regardless of this and that are so dope because it's what we decide to make it, you know, how we choose to go about it and see it, you know what I'm saying, and not have this whatever about, you know, all this other shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, we gotta allow ourselves, you know, to choose, you know, what we want, you know, and how we want to go about certain things, you know what I'm saying, and we can't, you know, we can't allow, you know, others, you know, to choose for us. You know what I'm saying? We you know, we can't go that way. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like, you know, because I didn't made, you know what I'm saying, that mistake, you know what I'm saying, with a relationship, just, you know, like not really, you know what I'm saying, it was, you know, like I say, you know what I'm saying, about yourself, just like, you know, what you want, don't want, you know, what you know, it's like, you know, knew what I wanted, but was fearful, but was, you know what I'm saying, but was like, it was like just so much, you know, confusion and indecisiveness and just, you know what I'm saying, acting like, you know, it was gonna, you know, last forever and acting like, you know, it could just be, you know, whatever, and, you know, not really, you know, not really appreciating, you know, what was, you know, and, you know, appreciating that, you know, appreciating the moments and, you know, really, you know, being within the moments and, you know, just expressing what I wanted to express within the moments, you know, and it's just like, you know, you go through your certain relationships doing that, you know, it just, regardless, it just won't give you peace, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I can't get my peace, you know, it's, you know, like I say, you know what I'm saying, like, because I said, like, use that relationship and really evaluate it, work, change, grew, you know what I'm saying, because, it was just like, you know, just really just hurt me so much, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, obviously, you know, the other person, sure, this and that, you know what I'm saying, but you look back and it's like so much shit, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, that I didn't do or did do, or, you know what I'm saying, so it's like, you know, but it's like, you know, I decided to take the opportunity and grow, you know what I'm saying, and it's like, you know, that's all you can do. You know, that's not all you can do, you know, because obviously you can go a lot of ways about it, you know what I'm saying, but that's what you should want to do, you know what I'm saying, and it's like, you know, obviously, you know, what happened, and it's like, you know, within certain people, you know what I'm saying, they don't want to grow, they don't want to change, they don't want to, you know, accept this, or, you know, at least try to understand this, or, you know, work through it, or, you know what I'm saying, it's like so many different people, so many different things, in so many ways, so many people, you know, view, you know, so many things, so it's just like, you know, it's like, it's not much you can do about, you know, a lot, you know what I'm saying, like, a lot is so much out of our control, you know what I'm saying, so that's why, you know, just within me on this journey and beginning the journey or whatever, you know what I'm saying, it was so, you know, just important, you know, to understand, you know what I'm saying, like, if I ain't, you know, in harmony with what I can control, you know what I'm saying, like, ooh, you know, that's why it was just so just mind everywhere, and just so didn't know, you know, how to handle certain shit, or, you know, blah, 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 just in certain areas, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I was set within, you know, a lot of areas and, you know, situations and dealing with certain things, you know, because that's just because that's what I've been dealing with and practicing and certain shit like that. But just within certain, you know, sort of relationships, and within that relationship, that was the first relationship I ever had like that, you know, within the sense. So it was just like, it was completely new, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, it's like, you know, what I would so-called do with, you know, other relationships, but it's like, you know, I wasn't feeling that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I wasn't feeling to do that. And I'm like, you know, this supposed to be a, you know, whatever, you know, and I already having that you know, whatever of, you know, what a relationship supposed to, you know, or this and that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was just a whole new thing, you know, and I, you know, tried to go in it and be in it like, you know, I knew this and that, or I, you know, understood, or blah, 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 but it's like, you know, I didn't, you know, and, you know, it needed to express and healthily communicate and try to work together about what this was, or, you know, how we wanted it to go about it, or this and that, you know what I'm saying? And it was just, you know, just, you know, doing whatever until, you know, it was nothing, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's tough. It is tough. Oh man. Oh man, not again. Evaluate, work, change, grow. Evaluate, work, change, grow.